world of creativity. It's a world in many ways of branding. It's also a world of capabilities. I mean, I take design in the widest sort of possible sense of the term. So, as I said, a lot of our future today actually depends on national capacity. People today would buy, Indian goods or Indian products or collaborate with Indian companies once there is that kind of image that this is a place where really human talent is at its best. And my feeling, as someone who's been doing this for a long time, that kind of perception today is emerging in the world. That people see, young Indians go out, that more and more, there's a lot of business coming into India. You'll bear testimony. Today we are the largest sort of recipient of foreign investments. So I would say the answer to that, to the first question, and in a way to the third question, it is really our skill in or the progress in these domains which will actually determine what does the world think of India. Look, at the end of the day, people will always say this is about numbers, this is about capacity, which is true. But finally, it is about getting into people's minds. That when we think of other countries, you look, for example, at this great run that the United States has had. Why has it had that? Because the United States has created a certain American brand that people think, US, great tech guys, equal opportunity, these are very bold. There's a kind of a cumulative culture. I mean, Korea is an example. I mean, it's very interesting. We should ask ourselves why is there, I do not speak for everybody here, but why would you watch K-pop and not J-pop or C-pop? There must be something there, right? So, and frankly, for most of us, the answer is because other people do so. So I would say today, and I do see this putting out of narratives or familiarizing other people with, what we are about. This is very important. A lot of our history is actually we were very happy in our existence and very oblivious to what was happening in the world. That era, of course, ended even with the colonial period. But certainly in a globalized era and the kind of mobility and the kind of, the numbers I'm giving you of Indians who are out of India. And as I said, the demand which you will have for Indian talent, I think we need to consciously work at it. I mean, it's not just for governments, I would say it is for universities as well, it is for individuals as well. The other question, the G20 question. Here's my short answer. Last year the G20 got bogged down completely on the Ukraine issue. Now, I'm not minimizing the Ukraine issue. It's a very major conflict. It's a serious conflict. But the fact is, a very large part, if you take 200 countries in the world, maybe about 100 plus countries, they had food issues, they had fuel issues, they had debt issues, and the world was not listening to them. If you look at the last, I'd say 2 years, between 3 years, between COVID and Ukraine, globally, today spending on education, spending on health, spending on the social sector has gone down. A lot of the progress that was achieved in the last 10 years is in serious danger today. People had put 2030 as a kind of target date. That date was a date of hope. Today it's a date of worry. So how do we get this back on track? Our effort would be, look, let's get back to the pressing issues of the entire world. And, that could be this sort of set of issues, particularly I would say the economic situation of the developing countries. I think I can take one more now.
Sure, can we have the last question, please?
I'll take three. One round.
Okay, three more. So audience, we can have 3 more questions.
Hello sir, my name is Gauri, I'm from first year of design. So I wanted to know whether you have this a particular learning which you remember about and still apply into your life that you maybe learned about while you were a student, maybe around our age?
What did I say?
Can we have the mic in the first row, please?
Sir, we are running very two close neighbors, Pakistan and China. China, what I have heard and learned, China's political system is different, but socially many things are common or culturally of the same traditions. Family in China,
Like us, with us.
with us. Although due to the 62 war, actually, we have become enemies actually. And we are the major populous country all over the world. So how we can see the future actually,
Okay, well,
if we collaborate both the countries in that way.
okay. I'll stop there because I was told I have a hard stop. Okay, look, I would say this about being a student, which was a long time ago. Formerly a long time ago. In many ways, we are always students. To be very honest with you, I wasn't a particularly good student through my school. I would even say through my first degree. For me, what changed was at some point of time, I hit something I liked. I really liked. Once I did that, nobody even had to tell me to study or, I then became I was enjoying it. It was self-motivated. So if you ask me in a way, if I were to give universal career advice, I will tell anybody, whether it is studying or whether it is a job. If you actually are doing what's your passion. Look, I've been at it, I'm now well into my 5th decade in this business. I don't, every day is a new day, you kind of go out there, there's something to do. When you enjoy doing it, 45 years can go like this. So I would say to all of you, if you pick something and you really like it, make your life out of it. It's really natural to do well because it's a passion. It's not a work. It's not a study. On the China issue, yes, we as the two biggest countries in the world, two neighbors in the world, immediate neighbors, we have to find some kind of equilibrium. I don't think anybody denies it. And I don't think any government, we may all have our political differences, but I would say as an objective person, everybody in their own way has tried to find that balance. But that balance cannot be on the terms of the other party. Then it is not a balance. There has to be something mutual. So that's why we say, look, there are these mutuals, that there has to be mutual respect. There has to be mutual sensitivity. There has to be mutual interest. It would be between two people as well. How can we get along in the long term if you don't respect me? If you're not sensitive to my concerns, if you ignore my interests. So countries are like people. In a way, it's not that complicated. So I think today, if we see that respect, we see that sensitivity, we see that recognition of our input, yes, we can have a better relationship with China. But if we do not, I think we need to stand up for our rights, and we need to be firm in asserting our positions. And that, unfortunately, is currently what is the situation. So once again, really, let me, at the conclusion of that question, thank you all. It's really been a great pleasure.
Thank you, sir, for leading this session with the students' question wonderfully. And to mark the closure to today's event, I now invite Ms. Aditi Vashish, Assistant Professor, Anant National University, who is also a core team member of the Anushil Collaborative, to deliver the vote of thanks.
નમસ્કાર, ગુડ ઇવનિંગ ટુ ઓલ ઓફ યુ. જેમ દરેક પ્રોગ્રામનો અંત હોય છે તેમ આ પ્રોગ્રામના અંત તરફ જઈએ છે, તો હું વિદેશ મંત્રી શ્રી જયશંકર સરનો આભાર વિધિથી કરીશ કે જેમ કોયલને કુંજન વિના ન ચાલે, કોયલને કુંજન વિના ન ચાલે, ભૂમરાને ગુંજન વિના ન ચાલે, તેમ તમે તો અમારા સ્નેહજનો છો મિત્રો, તમારો આભાર કર્યા વિના અમને ન ચાલે. અનંત નેશનલ યુનિવર્સિટીમાં આવ્યા પછી અમે ઘણું બધું જાણવા શીખવા મળ્યું છે. એટલા ટૂંકા સમયમાં અમે ઘણું બધું શીખ્યું છે. પોતાનામાં કંઈક કરી બતાવવાનો આત્મવિશ્વાસ આવ્યો છે. અમે અમારા જેવા લોકો માટે પ્રેરણારૂપ બન્યા છે, આત્મનિર્ભર બન્યા છે. તે માટે હું અનુશીલ ટીમ, ફેકલ્ટીઝ, ઘણા બધા સ્ટુડન્ટ્સ કે જેમને અમને સપોર્ટ કર્યા છે, યોગ્ય માર્ગદર્શન અને પ્રોત્સાહન આપ્યું છે, તે બદલ હું તેમનો ખૂબ ખૂબ આભાર માનું છું. થેન્ક યુ.